First off, what even is a cursed item? By my definition, a cursed item is an item that shouldn't exist in the game in survival. For example, these spawners and these fishing rods. Now, there's a few different ways that an item can become cursed. But in order to understand that, we need to understand how items in Minecraft actually work. Every item in the game has a set of data values associated with it. There are quite a few of them, something like 8, if I'm not mistaken. But, for the purposes of this video, we only need to talk about 3 of them. The first and most important is the item ID, which is the value that determines what kind of item. Each item in the game has its own data value assigned to it. For example, stone is number 1, cobblestone is number 4, redstone dust is 55, so on and so forth, which introduces the first way an item can be cursed. Some items should not be obtainable in item form within a survival world. For example, these spawners are ID number 52, and they should not be obtainable within survival, but they were in the very first version I played in this world. And another example of item IDs that shouldn't exist within a normal survival world, or at least in item form, are these furnaces. These furnaces are item ID number 62, aka a lit furnace, which means that when you place them down, they'll have particles coming off of them in the texture of a furnace that's smelting something, even though they wouldn't be smelting anything. The second important data value associated with every single item is the stack size. In other words, this data value determines how many items are in a stack. For example, this stack of cobblestone has 37 cobblestone in it, because the stack size data value is 37, and these are 1 and these torches are 2. But there's a third data value, the stack size limit, that determines the maximum value that can be within the stack size data value. That's where an item like these fishing rods gain their cursed nature. They are stacked all the way up to 64, even though their stack size limit value is set at 1, which means that these fishing rods are what I refer to as overstacked items, or items whose stack size is larger than its stack size limit. But the inverse is also possible. For example, these spawners that I showed you earlier, they're understacked. In other words, their stack size value is 0 rather than 1 through 64, like is average for a spawner. Meaning that if you would try to place these spawners, they would just disappear. In other words, they're essentially just fake items. Which leads us to today's goal, to create 3 more official entries like these for 3 unique items. Eggs, the special furnaces I talked about earlier, and actual real spawners. Let's start off with the least assuming. Eggs are actually pretty interesting in these old versions. Most people know that they can only stack up to 16. In other words, in modern versions their stack size limit is set at 16. But in older versions, before they were given any functionality, you could stack them up to 64. So, my plan is to fill this entire chest with eggs, much like I did with these fishing rods. And same for the furnaces and spawners. But there's a slight issue. I can't get any more of any of these items. Well, I can for the eggs, but collecting these 51 eggs has taken the better part of about 10 hours. But for these last 2, the only way that I'm going to ever get any more of them is by duplicating them. And since it's just for a display in a museum and they have very little unique functionality aside from the spawner, I feel that it's an okay compromise. Well, it seems I've just deleted those items. Let's see if I can figure out another way to duplicate items.
A few minutes later.
Fortunately, Minecraft Alpha has quite a few glitches, so I'm going to switch duplication methods. But for that, I'll need a nether portal.
Bam!
now let's go in and see what's on the other side. Spooky. Well, I guess we're gonna have to do it up here then. So, let's place down some chests. Basically what you do for this glitch is you put your items in the chest, you come over to the nether portal, back into it, and open the chest, and just leave it there. And when you come to the nether, the items will be there in the chest, you just grab them, then you exit the chest, and then you go back through the portal, and voila, you're back to this chest, having duplicated your items. Now it's time to do it with the real items. Huh, it sent me to the right portal this time. Ta-da! Uh-oh. So it turns out that I've accidentally misplaced the real spawner. And, well, it's one of these. So I'm just gonna have to guess. Probably either this one or this one, but it also might be that one. So we're just gonna have to duplicate them to figure out which one is the real one. Well, here goes nothing. Hopefully this works out. Oh, I hope this works. There it is! That's the real one. These are fake. That one's real. Ooh. Well, let's put these back now that we're sure that they're fake. Man, I thought I had lost the only spawner that I had, but nope. Ooh. That's a relief. Now let's go get the other items and duplicate them all. This spawner's fake, and everything else is real. Now that I have this one fake spawner in my hand, I'll prove to you that it's fake. Watch this. It disappeared. Spooky. There, done with the eggs. Now back to the spawners and furnaces. Now that I'm done duplicating the items, it's time to move them back up to the top of the tree. There. Now all we need are some signs to mark what are in each of these chests. Thus concludes episode 4, Enter the Eggman. If you like this episode, come back next time, because I'm going to be collecting a bunch more items.